The Justin Robert Young podcast brought to you as always by everybody who supports us at payjurydaily.com. Again, payjurydaily.com. Also, your reminder that myself and Brian Brushwood, we got a new comedy album coming out. I'm not going to tell you the name. Well, tomorrow I'll tell you the name. We're going to reveal the name tonight on Night Attack. So go ahead and check that out. Night Attack, the podcast, and streaming live at twitch.tv/Night Attack. But in the meanwhile, just know that you should be ready to buy an album on January 22nd. Again, January 22nd is when you want to buy the brand new Night Attack comedy album featuring the music of Stephen Cogswell. All right. Enough of talking about how we support the show. Enough of talking about the big, exciting projects we have coming up in the future. What do you say we just do the damn thing? Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on, everybody? It's your old pal Justin Robert Young here, joining you yet again for another episode of JuRY Daily. I don't know why. I am in a very self-help mood. I am in a very life hack mood. I am trying to better myself. We have a judgment rendered in our dry January conversation. We'll get to that in your emails in a little bit. But I will abide by the ruling no matter what. The ruling is ironclad, and I will stick to it. However, you guys have voted. Whether or not my dry January is over. Whether or not I have failed in my mission to go one solid month, the first month of January, dry, boozeless. But part of the reason why I like the idea of dry January is because I do believe in self-reflection. I do believe in self-betterment. I do believe in the idea that you can look yourself in the mirror and say, today I will stop a bad habit or I will gain a good habit. We often think of ourselves as finished products, which is odd because we've always thought of ourselves as finished products. Isn't that weird that we're like kids, or preteens, or teens, or in our early 20s, and we always think, oh, well, I'm this kind of person. I'm the guy or girl who does this. I'll never be able to get this through my head. That remains constant, despite the fact that whenever we meet up with old friends or look at old pictures or anything else that reveals our past to us, we always think, what? Oh, I'm a very different person. I look different. I act different. My friends are different. At least one of those three things is always true for everybody. But yet there are some times that we have patterns of behavior that we just kind of throw up our hands on. We get a little bit fatalistic. This is just who I am. One of the biggest problems with becoming self-employed for me was two things. Number one, realizing that I didn't have a boss to bitch about. That one was really hard to give up because I didn't realize how much I enjoyed bitching about my boss, whoever that boss was, until I didn't have a boss to bitch about anymore. As soon as I was accountable for my own actions, oh man, did life suck just a little bit more. Because it is so sweet to look upstairs and say, man, this place would be so much better if they weren't fucking up. Oh my God, did you hear what blank did? These new rules are the shits. then you become your own boss. And you want to know the funniest thing about it is that it wasn't necessarily even that I became self-loathing, because I've always been a very self-loathing person. It was that it was trying to introduce a new flavor. Like, normally I'm used to beating up on myself for all different kinds of reasons, but now I had to beat up on myself because I was a bad employee? Oh, no, that's not good. I don't like that. Oh. Even worse, I'm going to be forced to try and optimize myself, because now I have more of a business stake in it than I ever have. It's that old saying, right? You know, boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I shit on company time. Well, it turns out I make the dollar now. All of my shitting is done on company time, because all of the time that I have in my life, I have for my own. So, I forget when I started doing this, but it was after the back injury. And I decided, like, I was getting out of my cocoon of self-medication, right? And I don't mean that necessarily with booze or drugs, although certainly those as well. More the, like, you're hurt, sleep it. You're hurt. Have that extra meal. You're hurt. You deserve it. Have whatever element of your life that would make you feel just a little bit better, because you deserve it. You're on the IR. And look, I'm all for self-care. I think that is something that is probably not paid attention to enough in our continued freelance field. But I decided I wanted to get more out of mornings. I think it was actually Brian from Night Attack, Brian Brushwood, who on one of our shows recommended a book in which it posited the theory that the rest of your day is replicated from the first hour of your day. That if you maximize the first hour of your day, literally just run as hard as you can that first hour of the day, that more productivity will happen than if you gave yourself that first hour of the day off. You know, your alarm goes off, you go back to sleep. Or you get up, but you're really just fucking around on the internet for an hour. If you can dial in, focus, and get shit done, then the rest of the day doing, having that kind of activity is not only more likely, but you are creating that opportunity. Now, I'll be honest with you, people. I ain't read that fucking book. So I have no idea what kind of evidence they throw in there. Nor do I think I've even had another conversation with Brian about the book that he read. But that thought did stick with me. And I started to think about my first hour of the day. And here's how it normally went. Alarm went off. Usually it was Ashley's alarm. And I would wake up, grab my phone, and start reading Twitter. Right? I would just catch up on what happened online while I was asleep. And that would usually last for about 45 minutes. Be about 45 minutes worth of me just looking at my phone. Bullshit. Now, I started to think about another friend of mine, Andrew Main. Andrew Main had this little life hack about going to the gym. And this was when Andrew, I believe this was around one of the times that Andrew was about to do a television show, but he didn't know when, right? When you start pitching a TV show, sometimes it's really, really, really quick. Sometimes it's like, okay, well, we got to talk to our other people, and then they got to go upstairs, and then we're going to go to a market research thing, and then we're all going to go to a retreat in Aspen, and we'll play Spin the Bottle, and whoever, kisses John will get their program greenlit. So it could be anywhere from 5 minutes from now to 5 years from now that your show is going to get made. That's just how that business works. So Andrew made the point that in this weird kind of will they or won't they zone, he had to stay in shape. He's got to be in, you don't just overnight get in TV shape. You got to kind of keep yourself, you got to idle the car a little bit. So he had to go to the gym, but it's hard to motivate yourself to do it. So he had this little hack, this one simple trick. Don't tell yourself you're going to the gym. Instead, just put on your gym clothes. That's the step. It ends there. You give yourself permission to not go to the gym. You can change out of your gym clothes. But you got to put them on. You got to put them on once a day. Now, that's not my tip. Here's my tip. I got to thinking about both my friends. Brian, the first hour of the day. Andrew, just put on your gym clothes. And I'm like, how can I use the Andrew trick to achieve the Brian result? And here's what I came up with. Every morning, I went and grabbed my phone. Every morning, I told myself I can't look at my phone the first time I look at my phone. Now, I can look at my phone for as long as I want. I can even lie back down if I want. But when I first look at my phone, I have to have 2 feet on the ground. Like an NFL catch, it has to be 2 feet. 2 feet firmly planted, and then I can unlock my phone. I can spend as much time as I want fucking around. Here's what I found. I usually just wind up getting up because I'm halfway there. I'm halfway. One knee's fine. Yeah, either two feet or one knee. If you want to go one knee, you can. Although who knows whether or not it'll be read as a political statement in this day and age, 2019 and all. But that was my one little thing to just get more done in the morning. I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of early birds watching me. Maybe there's a bunch of early birds listening to me right now. But I'll bet you a fair amount of you motherfuckers aren't. You got a little bit of a hard time getting the old crank going in the morning before you kind of catch speed. Well, that's my one little trick. 2 feet, then you can look at your phone. That is if you're like a total internet addict like I am, although if you're listening to my show, there's probably a fairly good chance that you are. Let's go ahead and get into your emails. JuRYDaily@gmail.com. Again, JuRYDaily@gmail.com. All right, here we go. You guys are rendering. If you didn't listen yesterday, here's the setup. I'm doing dry January, no booze in January. However, while we were having a game night last Saturday, we were making using fake gin called Seedlip to make little fake gin and tonics. And to garnish them, I threw in grapefruit bitters, which is normally what we like to do, only to find out later in the evening that bitters has alcohol. Is my dry January sullied? Andy writes, no, dry January is not over. I say this as a person who has made his own bitters, mead, and rum over the years. Yes, there's a small amount of alcohol in bitters, but it's such a small amount, and you use such a small amount that it's not going to impact your metabolism. Technically, I bet your millennial hipster kombucha has more alcohol than the bitters. Enjoy dry January. I will raise a glass in your honor. Well, thank you very much, Andy. Blake says, I say the bitters aren't a deal breaker, especially if the reason for taking some time off is to give you and your liver, I name mine Dostoevsky, a bit of a reprieve. However, I prefer to do sober October. That way one doesn't get whiplash from turning it up to 11 for 2 weeks straight in December and then slamming on the brakes for January. Now, Blake, that is where I would disagree with you, because I actually found dry January easier to do because we went on a bit of a bender for the holidays. I likened it to, I believe it is in Primary Colors, where the James Carville surrogate character is talking about how he quit smoking. And his way of how he quit smoking was that he took a carton of cigarettes and smoked every single cigarette. So just ripped in one sitting, ripped through an entire fucking carton of cigarettes, and he's never smoked again. So that's what I thought when we were going through the holidays. I'm just like, you want to know what? I know I'm doing dry January, so I am going to fucking destroy this entire carton. Stinky Pete the Pirate on YouTube says, Drake, given the evidence presented, he is not a creep, but he is on the creep spectrum. And Michael Keeper on YouTube brings us on home by giving me my final reprieve. Dry January continues, ladies and gentlemen. Because Michael Keeper says the mistake with the bitters does not count. Can I just go ahead and get a big round of applause for our jury box, our grand jury, all of our listeners? You are all amongst the jury. But these grand jurists, they are the ones that are contributing on payjurydaily.com in a manner that makes me yell their name out loud. Bill, Dustin, BioCal, Robert H. Brian C. M. Trey the Melodic Man, Adam, and Middle-Aged Mike. Please, give me your life hacks, your one little tricks that make life just a little bit better. Not anything gigantic, not anything huge, not any diet stuff. Just one little trick that makes your life better. JuRY@gmail.com. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat @Justin R. Young, and you can join our Discord, bit.ly/jury Discord. All right, folks. That's it for us. A reminder to please give a round of applause to Mr. Wacky. But more important, until I see you tomorrow, please, no.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.